Thank you for life itself and for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, Ed Lawson, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I am asking that you graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, and personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those of us who live and work in our beloved city of Sparks. It is in your most blessed name that we pray. Amen.
Senior extraordinaire. Green is on.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Sparks City Council. My name is Marcy Cooper-Smith. I'm senior advocate, senior volunteer, and I'm here just to tell you that I'd like to advise you effective immediately. I will be stepping down, resigning as chair and board member of the Sparks Senior Citizen Advisory Committee. It has been my pleasure to serve on this committee, which I helped find a couple of years ago, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sorry to see you go. Chris Garvey.
Chris Garvey, and I am a resident and candidate for Sparks City Council, Ward 1. I had the pleasure of going to the Homeless Advisory Board meeting today and learned a lot of things. I was surprised that even one of the board members was seeing more homelessness happening in our areas and encampments coming back to our streets, parks, and et cetera, such as we see in Deer Park. We actually have tents and that now up there. The other things that we learned was that everyone's doing such a great job and the CARES campus is such a success. But yet we need to build senior housing, permanent senior housing on the CARES campus. And that the staff that runs the CARES campus needs a 5% cost of living raise. And that to actually fund the housing for all the homeless, we should be passing a $300 million bond. I'm blown away by the lack of questions from the advisory committee on how that would happen. And why are we putting more money into something that doesn't seem to be bringing the results that we all want and hope for our homeless community. The other thing that we learned is that the mayor made a prediction, and he's pretty good at these because the last one was true too, that the $2.7 million property that the council purchased over on 10th and Avenue of the Oaks will be given away to a developer to do subsidized housing. He predicted that we would purchase it for that before the council voted, so I'm thinking he has a pretty good chance of being right this time too. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today was the budget. Within the budget item, there is a portion of that where 4 firefighter positions will be held vacant and 5 police positions will be held vacant. And I would hope that the council will talk to the community and let us know how you plan on keeping our community safe when often as the public we call and they tell us there's no one to send. Our property crime is up, and Sparks has had the most horrendous thing that has ever happened in her history, where we had a police shootout in our neighborhoods and seniors were taken hostage. So please, when you think about your budget proposal and how you're going to make ends meet, think about the people that you serve and how to keep them safe. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais, and I'm looking for approval of the agenda. Mr. Abbott,
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Dare.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Minutes, any changes to the minutes? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson,
Move to approve the minutes for the Sparks City Council meeting on April 22nd, 2024.
Ms. Spivey.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on to announcements, presentation, recognition items, and items of special interest. Presentation by Mr. Taylor Adams from EDON. Thank you for being here, sir.
If I open it, perfect, all right. Okay. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, and Mr. Attorney. Also, I'd like to extend greetings to senior appointed staff. Madam Clerk, for the record, my name is Taylor Adams. I'm the Chief Executive of the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada. It's great to be with you all this afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. Mayor, certainly I know that everyone on the council knows what EDON does, but I thought that I'd start for the public and provide a little context on who we are and how we operate. In our core, we're a public-private partnership. Well, I'll talk more about how that works in just a moment. But our job here is to attract and retain quality jobs that help define success for the region. We also work directly with workforce providers to pair them with the employment opportunities in the region to ensure that we continue to be the competitive location that we've been over the past 10 years in particular. We work with entrepreneurs that are looking to start businesses or have just started businesses to ensure that we stabilize them and help them grow. And then geographically, we work from here in the metro area out to Fernley along the 80 corridor, and then obviously all of Washoe County as well. I won't read this to you, but this is just to orient the public and on how our team is organized. In business development, that's generally what's called business attraction around town. In business connection, which is retention expansion, then our workforce group, where that's important. We recognize as our market has matured, 80% of the new jobs in a healthy economy are going to come from existing businesses. So we're bringing more focus and intentionality than ever to ensuring that the businesses that are here can continue to grow here and thrive here. We work directly with in investor relations, which I'll talk more about in just a moment. And then in the entrepreneurial development space, that's where we're working to help people that want to start businesses, found them, fund them, and then grow them here in the region. As we dive into business development, I won't say more about that other than to say, like I say, is a lot of this is information just for people that may be members of the public that may be seeing this information for the first time. What we're looking to do in business development is, one, attract businesses into the region, but more importantly, something new that we're talking about. We recognize that there's been unprecedented growth in this region over the last decade in particular. And one of the things we're working actively on is ensuring that we focus on what are sustainable development principles. And I don't mean that directly in an environmental sense. I just mean that we want to optimize the infrastructure investments that have already been made in the region before we bring projects that are going to require the construction of new infrastructure. Here's some of the resources that we use in that space. In business retention, expansion, and workforce, I already talked about the importance of making sure that we are ensuring that the businesses that are here are thriving here, but more importantly, as it relates to workforce development, that we're connecting our education providers with our major employers to ensure that we can deliver on the workforce of the future. again, some more information for the community on resources that we provide in this space. Entrepreneurial development, I've covered some of this. I'll jump forward to their resources. In the space of entrepreneurial development, many of you were with us at Reno Startup Week, the very first startup week in the state of Nevada. Thank you for being with us during that week. We're working on Startup Week Round 2. And Elevate Reno is a pitch competition that runs once a quarter. Again, you all, I want to commend and express gratitude to members of the City Council who have more than many other councils in the region have been with us at a number of these events. And so thank you for your continued engagement in that space. About how EDON is funded, I mentioned that we're a public-private partnership. I think this is something that we don't talk about enough. 75% of our funding comes from the industries and the major employers in Northern Nevada that benefit from our work. But also 25% of our funding comes from the public agencies in Northern Nevada. And Sparks most notably is one of those, along with our governor at his Office of Economic Development. And I just want to stop here before I go any further and say thank you. There's nothing that my team does that would be possible without the support of this City Council, and we're grateful for your recurrent support and your leadership in the region in this space. What has EDON done over the last year? So we took all of our 2023 announcements and we worked with a researcher at the university to run them through a software package called M-Plan. M-Plan really is the industry standard for understanding the fiscal impact of economic development work. And so just to give you an idea, in 2023, a year when most in the country faced real economic headwinds, our region was no exception to that. But we're so fortunate to have had 15 announcements that total just over 1,745 jobs, so about 1,750 direct new jobs that were announced in the region. Those will bring new payroll spending in our economy of just less than $158 million. The total output of those, when you add in the construction, just over $700 million. But I want to focus on the value add. We recognize that there's a cost of growth. And this is something we want to talk about as we go forward. We want to make sure that we're being honest with the community about the cost of growth, but also recognizing that there is displacement, that not every job that comes here will bring a new person into the region. Some people will leave existing jobs to take a new job and so on and so forth. And so there's a displacement factor. The value add is what we want to focus on, and that is the true net gain in the community from the new wealth that'll be created on these jobs, and that's just less than $400 million in a direct sense. Indirect, those are businesses that will benefit from those payrolls that are here in the new wealth that's generated in the region. I'll jump straight to the value add of just over $125 million. And when you talk about induced, that is spending that we're drawing, businesses, suppliers, and things of that nature that we will draw to the region because of the major announcements that will come in future years, and that's another $100 million in value add. All told, a very successful year for the region. We can expect that at the completion of construction and its stabilization, just over $600 million in new wealth in the region because of the attraction that we saw over the last 12 months. As I jump forward, here's a quick listing for the public of those announcements. You'll notice that not all of those announcements have a capital expenditure number assigned to them. If it doesn't have a capital expenditure number, in most cases what that will mean is the business was going into an existing building. There was not a net new add to the tax rolls, and so in the interest of not double counting, we like to only count construction once. And so in those spaces, you'll see that there are some gaps. Beyond that, though, it's been a pretty good year. This is where I want to stop quickly before I take questions, though, and say, Mayor, as you know more so than anyone, and you and I have had these conversations, as it relates to Sparks specifically, we're facing some real estate challenges around available space. This is why we're working so hard on the lands bills working east of town, particularly the Truckee Meadows lands bill that Senator Rosen is championing for us right now. You and I have both been to D.C. to talk about that bill, and I don't know that there's anything more important on EDON's roadmap right now than ensuring that we're the partner that Sparks needs and the Senator needs on doing everything we can to successfully deliver that package. However, it's important. I do want to say in the event that we are not successful in this Congress, we do think that there are some interim steps that we can do to unlock parcels in that BLM land that's east of town. And I just wanted to give you my word here and give your council my word that Edon will do everything we can to ensure that we are partners in delivering that opportunity to your community. With that, I want to stop and take any questions that you might have for me.
Questions from the council? Mr. Dare?
I want to thank you. You've been in the region for a little bit over a year, and I think you jumped in with everything you got. If there's a business listening or maybe here who are wanting to be involved or join in the effort or know a little bit more about the entrepreneurship, how can they do that?
Thank you for that question, council member. We would, like so many businesses, Edon is in the office, and so the easiest way is just call us. There's a live person that will answer the phone at our reception desk and that will route you to the appropriate senior vice president in our organization. Secondarily, our website offers direct access to our team, and anyone that likes in the community, I'd welcome them to email me directly. My email address is adams, ADAMS, @edon.org. And so we welcome any current businesses that need assistance but also anyone looking to start a business in the region. Welcome the engagement. Thank you.
Ivy, you have anything?
You know I do.
I know. I've just be a
See, I
pleasure.
didn't even have to hit the thing.
Being
You knew
polite.
I'd say something. Thank you, Taylor. Having served 6 years on the EDOM board previously to you taking the helm, really amazing to see what EDON has done through the years. I was on the EDON board when Governor Sandoval was governor, and together with GOED, so statewide and here in Northern Nevada, the difference that they made, that EDON helped make for economic expansion was just incredible. And then the pandemic came, and we really saw pretty clear that even with the pandemic and its influence on our economy, that we were still, Northern Nevada was still so much stronger than even Southern Nevada, which really got hit hard because of international tourism, because it was so heavily dependent on casinos and tourism, and we weren't. And so for me, living here most of my life, to really see our economic base expanded so greatly, and to see, and I came from aviation, my husband's in gaming, and we know the swings that happen with those industries, to really see Northern Nevada expand that economic base made us so much stronger. I mean, when we went to not just Tesla, but we went to logistics and all the other industries that are out there, distribution centers like manufacturing, that weren't sensitive necessarily to different things in the economy or would give us, a broader stability, really has made a difference in Northern Nevada. And the numbers across the board of all the years that EDON working with the state the jobs you brought, the companies you brought, the headquarters you brought here, have been incredible, but provided us greater financial security and then workforce as we look to, and we've got high school kids here today from Sparks High, and really the outlook, the amount of jobs that are available, the workforce training that we really, housing, which it's produced challenges, but really overall, just the stability of being able to live here and stay here and work here is just been expanded so greatly. And so I appreciate all the work that EDON has done and continues to do, and thank you for the presentation.
Councilmember, thank you so much for your work on our board. I couldn't agree more with everything that you just said. Thank you, and as I know that you're now doing great work on the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority Board, I'll thank Councilmember Dare, who currently serves on the EDON board. And like I said, the engagement from City of Sparks is something that we feel at every one of our board meetings and are grateful. And so thank you. Also, as it relates to Sparks, congratulations again. I saw that it was another Sparks element. That I think it's every year there's another teacher in Sparks that wins a Milken Award, and I think that really speaks to the strength of the community. So congratulations.
Mr. Abbott, you got anything?
And speaking of all the amazing teachers and all in Sparks being here, we need a Sparks Startup Week. We need when does Elevate Sparks launch Sparks?
So thank you, Vice Mayor, for that question. And so absolutely, we're As it relates to Sparks Startup Week and for Elevate Sparks, step one, I think, is I gave you my word that Edon would run an event in Sparks downtown this year, and we will. Our team is planning that right now, but secondarily, yes, sir, we recognize the need to get better, and we will.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Taylor, thank you so much. The partnership's been a lot. I mean, Edon really saved us during the Great Recession and bringing a lot of good jobs. Now we've kind of pivoted to bringing the right kind of jobs.
Yes,
and
sir.
more high-paying jobs, which is helping us also. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Mayor. I really appreciate the time. And again, I can't tell you how much we appreciate, not just in these chambers, but the engagement of your city council at our events. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to presentation by Reno Housing Authority. We have someone here? There they are. Needs to be green.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so good afternoon. For the record, I'm Dr. Hilary Lopez, and I'm the Executive Director for the Reno Housing Authority, and here with me today is Heidi McKendry, who's our Deputy Executive Director, and we're very pleased to be here and appreciate the opportunity to provide you information on the Housing Authority, our current projects, and then answer any questions that you may have. So like Mr. Adams, I thought I'd just provide an overview. I think everyone is mostly familiar, but just in case, of who we are and who we serve. So we were created in 1943 as the Housing Authority of the City of Reno, expanded in the 1970s to include Sparks and Washoe County in our service area, and we have now acted as the Regional Housing Authority for nearly 50 years. We are overseen by a 5-member board of commissioners, and we are currently in the process of discussing rebranding to better reflect our regional focus. We are a quasi-governmental agency. The federal government provides the bulk of our funding, but our own business activities actually support much of our overhead as well. And we have been designated as a top performer by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD as we call them, for more than 20 years. We also have the distinction of receiving moving to work designation. So in 2013, we were one of only 39 initial housing authorities out of more than 3,000 across the country that have been selected to receive that designation. And we're the only housing authority within the state of Nevada that's a moving to work or MTW agency. And while it doesn't bring additional funding to our agency, what it does allow is for us to use the funding that we receive in different ways and to identify and get approval for locally based solutions so we could better target programs and our housing services for those in our community that need them. In addition to the Reno Housing Authority, we also have a subsidiary that some of you may be familiar with called Washoe Affordable Housing Corporation, and they serve as the HUD contract administrator throughout the state of Nevada for their Section 8 contracts. And through our programs and our subsidiary, we assist nearly 15,000 Nevadans every year secure a safe, affordable place to call home. 2/3 of our residents that we serve are seniors or persons with disability, and we focus our housing and programs to households with incomes at or below 50% of area median income. And then while HUD sets the AMI, or area median income, annually for cities and countries across the nation, and then updates it on an annual basis. And while I just mentioned that our programs typically target those households at or below 50% AMI, the majority of those we serve are actually extremely low income households, so falling into the at or below 30% of area median income levels. And without assistance from the housing authority, many of those households would have to make those difficult decisions as to whether to pay rent or buy their medicine or receive medical care or other types of decisions that we don't want households within our community to have to choose between. In terms of our traditional housing programs, we provide permanently affordable housing via our housing subsidies. We own and operate 8 public housing sites, encompassing a total of approximately 750 total units. Those public housing properties are spread throughout the county. So we have some in South Reno, we have some in the North Valley, some in Sparks as well. And public housing is one of the traditional federal housing programs started in 1937 to provide affordable housing to low-income households. And each of these complexes also has a resident council that's similar to like a neighborhood advisory board for us that provides input to us and oversees different special events at the communities and helps us foster more of a community environment for our residents. All of our public housing units are permanently affordable, so they'll never charge market rent, and residents that reside there pay no more than 30% of their income towards the rent. Thanks to state ARPA funds or Home Means Nevada initiative monies, as well as Washoe County Home Consortium funds, we are currently making a significant investment in several of our public housing properties. Every year, we use our capital funds to help make improvements in our properties, but this really allows us the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make significant investments to take a holistic approach to redeveloping some of our properties and really addressing all of the needs at the properties so that they stay in service for the next 50 years and for generations to come. So part of this investment is also increasing density at our Hawkview property in Reno as part of the redevelopment of that site. So we'll be adding another 99 units for our community for affordable housing. And then the substantial rehab of Silverado and Stead Manor. And then the moderate rehab of John McGraw Public Housing in Sparks and the adjacent Silver Sage property. So in total, it's 50 units between those sites. And that will improve ADA accessibility, modernize the systems there, address energy efficiency, and provide high-quality, affordable housing. In addition to our public housing, many of you are familiar with the fact that we administer the rental assistance voucher programs, including the popular Housing Choice Voucher Program, previously known as Section 8. We administer over 3,000 vouchers that help families, again, with rental subsidies that allow them to live wherever they want within Washoe County. So whether it's near friends or other family members, close to their employment, schools of their choice, or medical care. Of the 3,000, approximately 500 are what we call specialty vouchers, so targeted at either veteran populations, former foster youth aging out of the foster care system, victims of domestic violence, or emergency rental assistance vouchers for those who are homeless or facing homelessness. And these vouchers are provided in conjunction and partnerships with the Veterans Affairs Department, Health Plan of Nevada, Catholic Charities, and other organizations. And the specialty vouchers allow the participants to receive ongoing case management that also helps ensure they receive the wraparound services that they need to continue to maintain their housing and be self-sufficient. We also provide subsidies to Eddy House to help former foster youth and other youth age 18 to 24, and subsidized drop-in housing offered on-site in downtown Reno. And then we also have our resident service programs. So aside from our housing programs, we also have workforce development and youth programs that help those residents and clients achieve their personal goals and continue on that path to self-sufficiency. In addition to our voucher program and traditional public housing program. We also have what we call our community benefit properties. So we have additional 530 apartments, duplexes, and single-family homes that are completely unsubsidized, but the board has chosen to rent below market as another benefit for those in our community looking for affordable housing. This slide highlights all of the multifamily properties, and you can see there's 2 in close proximity to Sparks City Hall in terms of Parade Way Apartments and then Colonial Court. And the Housing Authority was really able to purchase these through downturns in the market and strategic financial investments during those periods of time or through donations of properties. In addition, just in terms of what are we up to right now, many of you may be aware we're opening a new 12-unit development later this summer called Dick Scott Manor, where there will be 12 units of project-based voucher-supported housing specifically for homeless or at-risk veterans. We're currently under construction on Rail Yard Flats. We appreciate that many of you came out to that groundbreaking. We hope to have a grand opening later this year and then be welcoming residents by early 2025. We're working with the City of Sparks to administer your rental assistance programs based on RHA success during the pandemic and releasing and assisting folks with emergency rental assistance. And then also, we just recently acquired a new space in Paradise Plaza through a donation from CIRE Equity that we're hoping to turn into our new resident services hub and to be an asset and benefit to the Audi district that the City of Sparks is working on. Just in challenges, it's, I think many are aware, but it's just expensive to acquire land right now. It's expensive to build right now, but we're constantly exploring new, unique, innovative ways to develop new affordable housing or reinvest in the housing that we have, looking at how we could help with expiring LIHTC properties in our community to make sure that we maintain and preserve those that we already have, and then just look at other ways that we could partner with those in our community to help address the affordable housing shortage. So with that, I would open it up for any questions.
Questions from the council? Vanderwall?
Thank you for the presentation. If you can just, in a couple of words, can you explain the Moving to Work program?
Sure. So the Moving to Work program, it's a designation that was awarded to the Reno Housing Authority in 2013. And again, it doesn't bring any additional funding, but it allows us to use the funding that we have differently than a traditional public housing authority. So we can do innovative or unique programs that better serve our community. We don't only have to use our capital funds for capital fund programs or our operating subsidies in traditional ways.
And what have you used those, what have you done in the past with the Moving to Work program?
So through the Moving to Work program, we've been able to also support some of the new development projects that we've been constructing. So we've used some of them on some of those monies for those projects. We've also done our Youth Start Smart program, where we're working with high school age youth to help them generate escrows and learn additional educational, financial literacy and other types of skills. And then upon completion of the program and graduation, they could take that escrow and then help them as they either continue their education, look for housing in the community, whatever it is that helps them on their path to self-sufficiency. And then we have several other things that we've done, but those are some highlights.
Anyone else? Mr. Dare?
I first just want to start by saying thank you for your help with the rental assistance stuff. That has gone so well, and so we're looking forward to seeing that continue. The one thing that could be helpful, and it could, maybe you don't have these numbers, just it'd be nice to know how many people in Sparks you work with, just as we look forward. I obviously care about the whole region, we all do, but when we're looking at this, our framework of where maybe we need to do more work, maybe we need to see more, it'd be nice to know in these programs this many in Sparks were touched. And again, you might not have that now, but next time we see it, that would be very helpful.
Yes, so we don't have that information today, but we'd be glad to get
Thank
that for
you.
you.
Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, as the name applies, you'd think that you only do work in Reno, but yeah, you guys have been doing fantastic work for residents in Sparks, and I want to say thank you. It was actually last week you guys stepped up. I was made aware of a single mom that had just broken her ankle at work and was let go. And she was facing eviction where she was, and you all stepped in and were able to save the day. So I just want to say thank you for the work you guys are doing, and I'm glad that we're partnering with you on a lot of projects because you guys have a great track record.
Thank you, and we're very excited to be working with Sparks and doing some new projects in Sparks, and again, looking for other opportunities.
Hey, anyone else? Well, one of these days, we're gonna get it changed to Regional Housing Authority. But until we get a better state legislature, we're a little worried about opening up that charter. So, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. Thanks for all you do. Okay, this is the one that Councilman Abbott's been waiting for, a commendation for the Sparks High School Skills USA opening and closing team.
We want to welcome or bring down the instructors.
Who do bring the instructors down? Yeah,
Three
come
of
on.
you.
You guys have a seat? We're gonna embarrass you in front of the millions of people that watch us on YouTube.
I
Sure.
think it's probably in the front row.
You guys have a seat, and then Donald will read your commendation.
Perfect. So, whereas the Sparks High School Skills USA opening and closing team recently won the gold medal at the Nevada State competition, which allows them to represent the state at Skills USA Championship in Atlanta, Georgia. And whereas this is the first year the Sparks High School Railroaders competed in the Skills USA opening and closing ceremony and won gold. And whereas this year's team is highly motivated to do their best to return with the gold medal for the state of Nevada. And now therefore, I, on behalf of Mayor Ed Lawson, the mayor of the city of Sparks, do hereby join the city council in commending the Sparks High School Skills USA opening and closing team for winning the gold medal at the Nevada State competition this year, and we wish them all the luck in bringing back the gold.
Who wants to come up and say a few words?
Hello, council, and everyone in attendance.
Give us your name for the record, please.
I'm Omar Hurtado, the guy with the glasses with the funky haircut over there. I'm the president of the Skills USA team, and we're all very, very honored that we have this opportunity in front of us here today. And we are very, very motivated to get nothing but at least a bronze medal on our way back from Georgia. So we won't let you guys down, and we'll make sure to bring you guys back something to be proud of. And I wanna just say we're all very thankful for this opportunity and the support we've received along the way. So thank you, everyone.
So I understand you had to raise a lot of money in a really short period of time, and you achieved it in how many days? 14, or was it 15? Am I right? 14 days. You raised $20,000. Pretty awesome. We gotta make sure that the millions of people at home can hear you.
For the record, I am Sergeant First Class retired Carmen Montez. I'm one of the advisors, and we could not have done that without Donald Abbott of Ward 1. He pushed us, he heard us, then he helped us, and then he pushed us, and we all came together. So for that, I want to say thank you, Councilman.
No problem.
Could you or one of the instructors give us a really brief explanation of what Skills USA is and what these kids have to do in the competition?
You're not
Just-
gonna know the same.
Just brief, okay.
Real quick.
Thank you.
For the record, I'm Sam Kudo. I teach at Sparks High School. So Skills USA is a career and technical student organization. It is been around for a very long time. It might also be known as VICA for some of the people that are of an older generation. So it's career and technical education. It is everything from leadership competitions, like what our students here competed in, which was opening and closing ceremonies, and more technical competitions like welding or sheet metal, HVAC, things along those lines. So it incorporates a lot of different skills, and it's all over the world. They have world skills, nationals, and so on. So it's a student organization, so they run the chapter, and we're kind of bringing Sparks back. It used to only be 2 or 3 students here and there that would compete, and we had, I think, 15 members this year, so we're bringing it there.
Any other questions?
Sam, could you just, for everyone out there, say what opening and closing team means?
Okay.
What is that exactly?
So the opening and closing ceremony team, what they do is they come in, they present the different portions of the emblem of Skills USA. So there are the hands that represent the individual, or the shield that represents patriotism, and they have the script that they have to go through, and they have to read it properly. And also so what they're kind of graded on is, are they saying it properly? Are they saying the Pledge of Allegiance with all the right commas and pauses in the right place? Their movements, are they taking unnecessary movements? Are they taking proper, the same amount between all 7 of them? It is one of those contests where between first and third place are like 2 or 3 points. It is very meticulous, and they all need to be smiling and professional the entire time, so.
And I'll just chime in a little bit more. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very proud of you guys. You know, I think it's the first time.
Don't run away yet,
Oh.
Sam. I got a question.
Oh, sorry. You want to ask?
I just want to clear this up now. In the Pledge of Allegiance, is there a comma after one nation, comma, under God?
I don't know.
We have
I'm not the advisor, I just kind of oversee it.
There's not a comma. Thank you.
I see no's.
No? No comma. See, this is an argument Councilman Abbott and I have. It's one nation under God, not one nation under God.
We got our answer today.
Thank you.
Just want to say congratulations to you guys. You know, usually, we've had over the years soccer in here and some track. It's just exciting to have some new faces. As a fellow railroader myself, I'm always thrilled to be able to recognize you guys. And first time in 20 years, I believe, that anyone from Skills USA were being represented for Sparks High. So it was an honor and privilege to be able to help raise a couple dollars. But I will say the community came together. I raised money throughout the year, and this was one of the easiest things. People were like, where do I put the comma? What can we do to help out? It was really nice. Huh? That's true. So just thank you all. And if there's anything else, I think we're taking a photo.
Yep, if you guys want to come up here, Donald will take a picture with you and right down in here, yeah.
Do you want it up here, because there's so many Julie's asking.
Hey, Julie, you want to do it on the dais?
Unless you all want to be in it, we just go around.
Let's just do it on the dais.
We'll all merge right in that middle spot.
Hey, sir. How are you? Good. Great, now that I see you.
Well, I don't know, but that's you gotta get out.
All right, we're gonna have to snuggle in, everybody.
3 steps.
Come on over.
Is that right, Shirley?
That should work.
Okay, I'm gonna take a couple of them, maybe. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Here comes the gold. Good luck.
What is this?
Chairs.
It's not your card? No. Somebody left it from a previous meeting.
Oh, you have a beach.
I don't know if that's for Yes. And I plugged in. I'll kind of stash it to the side here. Kind of get my heels all caught in.
I think Naomi Dewar left that. Okay, let's move on. 7.4, National Public Works Week. That you, Paul?
That's me. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of people in the city of Sparks. And whereas this infrastructure and these facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, including engineers, managers, skilled workers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, other structures, and facilities essential for public welfare. And whereas it is the public interest of residents, civic leaders, children in the city of Sparks to gain knowledge and understanding of, and to maintain a progressive interest in, the importance of public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association. Now therefore, Ed Lawson, Mayor of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th through 25th as National Public Works Week, and urges all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies to honor our public works professionals, engineers, managers, skilled workers, and employees, and to recognize their contributions to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
Give us your name for the record, Mark.
I'm Mark Anderson. I'm the Public Works Manager for the City of Sparks. Thank you guys for recognizing National Public Works Week. Today we have roughly 10% of our maintenance staff here for acceptance of this proclamation. And if anybody want to say anything, come on up.
Don't everybody jump up at once.
Pretty good representation of our team. We have some people from our garage, some people from our utility team, and some parks maintenance staff.
You know, one of the things I heard from you when I was going around visiting was Public Works touches our citizens every single day. You know, you may not get a deal with police and firemen in your life, maybe once or twice, but every single day you are touched by what these people do right here in our city. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
I would just like to add that they're the ones that are behind the scenes getting things done that a lot of people don't realize, recognize, or thank. And I just want to say thank you, because when things get at their worst, whether it's the worst weather, worst conditions, you all are the ones that are willing to step up 24/7 to get the job done. And I just personally want to say thank you for what you all do.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Ditto.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
You want to take a picture with Paul over here?
Actually, guys, it's better, I don't, you stay there and then you stay back there. He's gonna review.
I can't see her, so she can't see me. Can't take you anywhere.
Okay, ready?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
7.5, the proclamation Mental Health Awareness Month. Ms. Vanderbilt.
Yes. If I can have Councilman Torres come up and your NAMI Executive Director, please. Thank you.
Councilman Torres is a little ways away from home today.
I got lost, Mayor. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We give you a pass.
Thank you.
He's a councilman in Fernley.
Hey, whereas mental health is an essential part of overall well-being, impacting individuals, families, and communities across the city of Sparks, and whereas 1 in 5 American adults experiences a mental health condition each year, and everyone faces challenges in life that can impact their mental health. And whereas, despite its prevalence, mental health remains shrouded in stigma, preventing many from seeking help. And whereas early intervention and access to quality care are crucial for managing mental health conditions and improving quality of life. And whereas May is recognized nationally as Mental Health Awareness Month, providing an opportunity to raise awareness, combat stigma, and promote mental health resources. And whereas the City of Sparks encourages all residents to educate themselves and offers about mental health conditions, treatment options, and available resources. Because together we can create a community where everyone feels empowered to prioritize their mental well-being and seek help when needed. And now, therefore, I, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Mental Health Month.
Go ahead. Give us your name for the record.
For the record,
We make sure it's green. The light has to be green.
Oh.
There we go.
Cool.
Perfect.
My name's Nicole Shembri. I'm the Executive Director with the National Alliance of Mental Illness here in Northern Nevada. So we serve all of Washoe County. And thank you so much for recognizing this month. It is a National Awareness Month. And I will say that, you know, even since COVID, the need has increased exponentially for people reaching out for supportive services and education and more resources, whether they be a family member or a caretaker that has somebody who has experienced mental illness symptoms, or if they are an individual themselves. You know, it is our goal every single day to work with ages from 10 to 17 and 18 plus, all the way to veterans and seniors, to, you know, allow them a safe space to come somewhere and be able to address their concerns that are going on in their life with others. We by no means ever want to be the end of the line for someone. If we don't have the answer, we make sure that we are connected with almost every single other agency in the area to make sure that everybody gets connected with the resources they need, because, you know, mental health goes, it's the foundational and survival needs that people need at times. It's the food they need, it's the housing they need, you know, and that can affect somebody's mental health as well, you know. So we make sure that we're covering that whole scope to be able to address everybody's needs, and again, all of maybe the challenges that they're facing with any disorders they have, undiagnosed or diagnosed. And I could probably speak for most people in this room to say that perhaps most people in this room have experienced any form of anxiety in their lifetime, or perhaps know somebody in their life that is experiencing some form of symptoms. And for us to just hold some space and give grace to people Everybody shows up so differently in their own, mental illness or mental health. It looks different on everybody, and that means that the treatment that we need and the support that we need looks different on every single person. So if we could just show up with a smile and a little bit of kindness to anybody in the day, even regardless of what we're going through, it is going to just snowball effect, and it will pay itself forward. So thank you all.
Thank you. Anything to say? Come on, man. You're a councilman. You got to say something.
I try not to speak too much. So Nicole is the executive director for DAMI Nevada, which is Washoe County. Everything inside Washoe County, Nicole's agency handles. And then I'm the president of the board for DAMI Western Nevada, which is the 13 rural counties, everything outside of Washoe and Clark County. So we've been working together, our board and her board. My executive director is receiving the City of Fernley's proclamation on Wednesday at our city council meeting. And thank you all for taking the time to do this. It's not just the awareness, it's also trying to get rid of the stigma for something that everybody in this room has gone through at one time or another. So thank you again. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing, and thank you, Councilwoman Vanderwell.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the next, is Youth Apprenticeship Week. Do we have somebody here or somebodies? Come on down. Ms. Vanderwell's going to read this one also.
You guys in the youth apprenticeship?
We were.
There you go, yes.
We want to go back there.
There you go.
Recently
You want to go?
graduated.
Right. Whereas Youth Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its inaugural year of raising awareness of the vital role that youth apprenticeships play in providing job opportunities and pathways to the people of the city of Sparks by allowing youth apprentices to earn while they learn and advance in good quality jobs and well-paying careers. And whereas Youth Apprenticeship Week is designed to increase awareness of registered apprenticeships among youth, educators, parents, state agencies, workforce partners, and industries, and to highlight the benefits of apprenticeships as a pathway to careers. And whereas this observance gives apprenticeship sponsors, career and tech education, CTE programs, employers, labor unions, workforce agencies, and other diverse partners the opportunity to showcase the value of registered apprenticeship programs for youth, and gives youth apprentices a platform to highlight their apprenticeship experience. And whereas the advancement and well-being of the city of Sparks depends upon its ability to expand opportunities in its workforce that are inclusive of youth and young adults who have been historically underserved, marginalized, and adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequity in their chosen fields. And whereas registered apprenticeship programs are uniquely able to meet the changing demands of the Northern Nevada economy and provide a path for all qualified individuals, including women, youth, people of color, rural communities, justice-involved individuals, and individuals with disabilities to become apprentices and contribute to America's industries. And whereas the City of Sparks recognizes that both youth apprenticeship and other registered apprenticeship programs in general are proven industry-driven training models that foster improvements in job quality while creating access to good-paying, family-sustaining jobs for all. starting with youth and young adults. And whereas the City of Sparks has committed itself to strengthening talent and development pipelines for all industry sectors that simultaneously open the doors of opportunity to youth and young adults, our future workforce. Now therefore, I, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through the 11th, 2024 as Youth Apprenticeship Week.
Tom Blotsky, President of Northern Nevada Apprenticeship Coordinators Association, and also a coordinator for the Sheet Metal Workers Local 26. So we learned about this Youth Apprenticeship Week from the Department of Labor. They are changing the rules for apprenticeship across the nation, and that should be coming around in 2024. But they're also really branching out to all communities and businesses to create more apprenticeships, which I believe is awesome. So we kind of wanted to start this, and we're hoping to get the ball rolling and get it going all across the community. So it's really a cool thing. We had a lot of students come to all of our facilities, and it was really cool. So we're thankful for the proclamation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Charles Zemp. I'm Vice President of Northern Nevada Apprentice Coordinators Association and also an apprentice instructor for the Bricklayers and Tile Setters Union Local 13 Nevada. I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for reading this proclamation today and supporting our apprenticeship programs. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys want to come? This is Jeff. He's an apprentice.
I'm an apprentice. I'm a non-traditional apprentice, and it's been a great opportunity. We have a great staff, great contractors that we work with. Learning on the job is great, but nobody's going to put me in a position to fail when I'm out there, and if I don't know exactly what I'm doing. It's a great opportunity to make a living wage and go to college for free while you work.
My name is Donovan Braxton. I'm an instructor at the Local 26 Sheet Metal Workers Apprenticeship, and I myself went through the program as well, and it has helped me grow a lot. Without growing up, I didn't know I had that opportunity. If I'm being honest, it was college or sport, and I tried college, didn't like it. So I said, I gotta find something else to do. I found the apprenticeship program was the perfect fit for me. I'm technical, I like working with my hands, and I just like learning constantly. And going through the program, I grew a lot. When I went in, I was pretty rough. I was like a lump of coal. And I guess you can say, I'm not gonna say I came out the shiniest of diamonds, but I'd say I'm pretty close. I'm getting there. But yeah, thank you guys for recognizing, the apprenticeships and putting us out there because, there are more options out there for the youth other than college. I'm not knocking college, don't knock something till you try it, but, there are other options out there. Thank you.
Anyone from up here? Diane?
I'd like to share that what is great about what is happening with apprenticeship is the integration of technology. So what's happening is I did tour the Sheet Metal Workers Joint Training Center this Saturday and was told that by using a virtual reality welder, you guys are saving a little over $30,000 a year and not burning up steel. So all the trades are starting to do that, so with virtual reality. So I think that's great, and I think that's a great way to get our young people more involved in it. So thank you all for all you do.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No, I think the apprentice program is awesome. Where else can you come right out of high school and earn a living wage, and away you go. And a great career. So congratulations. I agree with your program. Get them started earlier, thinking about it so that they don't think it's only college and sports. That's what I thought. All right, we're gonna take a picture. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Dirty hands, clean money. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for coming.
Okay. 7.7, National Bike and Bicycle Safety Month and City of Sparks Bike Month. Mr. Dare.
I did see one person with a helmet. I'm sure he's supposed to come down here. And come on down. Welcome, welcome. I'll read this as you're coming on down. It says, whereas promoting alternative forms of transportation such as bicycling helps to improve health and well-being while reducing emissions, traffic congestion, and America's dependence on fossil fuels. Whereas creating bike-friendly communities has been shown to improve quality of life by fostering community spirit, improving traffic safety, and stimulating the economy. And whereas bicycle infrastructure in the Truckee Meadows offers great potential and opportunities to positively impact the recreation and tourism industries by making the region attractive to residents, visitors, and new incoming businesses who enjoy healthy lifestyles and the outdoors. Whereas Nevadans may experience the joys and benefit of bicycling during the month of May through educational and safety programs in local schools, community events, or going for individual or group bike rides. And whereas the education of the entire community on the proper and safe operation of motor vehicles and bicycle sharing, the use of streets is important to ensure the safety and respect of all users on Nevada roadways. And whereas the month of May has been declared National Bike Month since 1956, therefore, Ed Lawson, sitting to my right, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, does hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as National Bike and Bicycle Safety and City of Sparks Bike Month. Yay! Please state your name for the record and share away.
Hi, my name's Tom Albright. I'm representing the Truckee Meadows Bicycle Alliance, not the Reno Bicycle Alliance. Sparks is a really important part of what we do, especially because Sparks is such a great community for biking. You lead by example. I see people on the board here that are involved in biking, and you're working on keeping good infrastructure and attracting tourism that can be supported by bikes. And I like to, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, you heard of that? I like to play the 1 degree of biking. I can tie biking to all of the other events, and I'll give you an example. Mental health. I know personally, a few years ago, I was not a very happy person, and my daughter got a driver's license. We couldn't afford another car. So I said, look, you can drive the car to high school, and I'll ride my bike. And it just made such a huge difference in my life. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm here. So I think biking is so great for mental health and physical health, and for our kids, their ability to learn how to function as people, to get around, to get away from their screens. All those things are really important. And I'd love to see kids biking to school the way they were when many of us were kids. So thank you so much for your support. We'd love to see you enjoying Ride Reno Spin Sparks this Saturday morning along Audi. And thank you once again.
Would you like to share something?
Yeah, Brittany Aldea, Northern Nevada Public Health. I'm a health educator. Northern Nevada Public Health supports Bike Month to encourage and promote active transportation in our community. And Bike Month is a collaborative effort, and there will be various events throughout the month of May that people can participate in, organized by our community partners.
Very cool. And I just want to say I thought it was fantastic that this month we got to go down and watch all the kids bike over and do all that. And there's a lot of stuff around town to definitely teach our kids, and it's fantastic.
Just quickly, we're going to reiterate the bike ride this weekend. We'll start at Paradise Park at 9 a.m. We'll come up through Audi Boulevard by the Sparks Library, and then back to Paradise Park. I will be there for that, believe it or not, on my bike. Bicycle, not my motorcycle, my bicycle.
Electric bicycle.
They are allowed for the record.
My doctor said get some exercise. He didn't say how much.
It may be 10 a.m. was one. I'm not actually 100% sure. Yeah.
Okay, well,
but if you come at 9, we'll entertain you.
Well, I'm sure there'll be donuts.
Thank you very much.
Someone had to keep up with you that one day. You do not.
That's even better. I could sleep in. Okay, I've made that adjustment in my calendar. All right, now we're up to Salvation Army. Come on up, guys. Come on, Blaine. Yeah, come on. All right. Charlene has this one.
Whereas the Salvation Army's only business in Nevada since 1884 is still human business, undertaken with the joy for the family of humankind to the greater glory of God. And whereas through sound, innovative, and professional services, the Salvation Army serves the people of the city of Sparks with unshakable faith in all humanity, no matter how desperate the situation, and views all people as people with possibilities. And whereas the Salvation Army acts on behalf of all residents of Sparks with neither religious affiliation nor any other condition prerequisite, nor expecting any thanks, yet nonetheless welcoming of community support. Therefore, on behalf of Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, we hereby proclaim May 13th through the 19th as Salvation Army Week in the City of Sparks, and urge all citizens to join us in saluting the steadfast people who bind up the brokenhearted and renew the heart of our community by their quiet service of compassion.
Mayor Lawson and City Council, we just want to say thank you so much.
Give us your name, too.
Major Randy Hart, Salvation Army. I'm the Northern Nevada Coordinator, Salvation Army. I find it's a privilege every day to be able to do what we do, and also just to hear the history that we have here in Washoe County has been exceptional. Salvation Army, we love to bring hope to people who think that there is none, that there is no hope, or that they've just done too many things. Our adult rehabilitation program has helped so many residents of Sparks get their lives back together again, get their families back together again. To be part of that legacy of assistance and help in the name of the Lord Jesus has just been exceptional for us. Again, we don't push our faith on anybody. We just offer it as a help to folks who are looking for that kind of help. But we also offer to anybody who walks through our door receives help, no matter where they're from, no matter what their belief system is, no matter what. We are there to help, to give them love, to hold on to them. If they need a hug, whatever they need to help them move on the day. We do this with compassion, and we thank you very much for just recognizing the work of the Salvation Army here.
Blaine?
Mayor, City Council, I am Blaine Gale.
You are.
I am also the chair for the wonderful organization, the Salvation Army in Northern Nevada. I've been with the Salvation Army about 12 to 13 years, been the chair for the last 4, maybe 5 years. I don't even keep track of time because it's such a passion for me. 2 things about the Salvation Army that stands out to me is that 95 cents in every dollar we raise goes back into the program. That is phenomenal. Tell me one other organization that does that, 95 cents. The second thing is, as the major was indicating toward, we have room for 65 to
68, yeah.
Men. We're trying to get a women's program, but it's a work in progress. But these men that go to this program, they have lost everything in life. They have lost trust with family. They have lost credit. They've lost jobs. They've been arrested. We're the last step before they go, bye-bye for a long, long time. And these men, when they come through our program, they form such a brotherhood that is just phenomenal. And they have been caught doing all sorts of stuff in their previous life, and then they go through our program. They have a freedom that we don't get. Interesting, huh? They have a freedom that we don't have because they've had to go through some really difficult times to get where they are. And I'm just so proud of them, and I'm so proud to be part of this great organization. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Thank you for the work you do. And I never realized that you had that program till years ago. I think I was ringing a bell at Christmas and got to talking about Salvation Army, because that's what we all think of, Salvation Army and the red kettles at Christmas and the thrift stores. And so knowing that, you're raising money to help those less fortunate, but I didn't have any idea in addition to that or, what your programs were. And this program was just so impressive, the work that you're doing. And thank you all for the time and compassion you put into that, because I think it really, and I guess the success of your program is really pretty phenomenal. And that was really great to hear. And we appreciate everything you're doing in the community.
Councilman, our program is so, I don't want to say rough and tough, that we have men that say, I want to go back to prison. Because they get up at 5 a.m., they work, they go to counseling, they go to group counseling, they work in our sorting areas for clothing, recycling. It is not like the Ben Affleck program where you get mud packs during the day and they tell you how great you are. This is the real deal of learning to accept what you've done and moving forward.
Mr. Dare.
I'm not sure why you're picking on Ben Affleck, but.
Because he's been to a few.
I love Ben Affleck.
But I want to say that, I personally do believe, and we just had a board meeting today, an advisory board for our homelessness. But I strongly believe that as our churches, nonprofits, community groups coming together, that really will make the largest difference in anybody's life. And we'll continue to do what we need to do as government, but truly putting the arms around people and being there. So thanks for doing that.
It takes a community, doesn't it? And we certainly love to collaborate with our community partners in helping meet the needs of those who are less fortunate, those in addiction, those who just need friends and hope.
Anyone else? You guys do have a drug and alcohol program too, right?
That's correct.
So
That's
I
men's
was-
ARP.
I was introduced to you guys through that.
Yes.
So, having a friend that went through it and came out the other side, much better person.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
All right. Let's get a picture.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Blaine. Appreciate it. Thank you, Major. Thank you so much. All right. Chief, Boards and Commissions Vacancy Announcement Technical Review Committee, Washoe County Home Consortium.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson, Chris Crawford for the record. If you'll allow me, I'll run through all three of them together if you'd like.
Sir, please do.
Okay. Technical Review Committee, there is one vacancy on the Technical Review Committee, Washoe County Home Consortium, for a 3-year term ending June 30th of 2027. This vacancy is for a non-staff person. Applications will be accepted until Friday, May 31st, 2024 at 5 p.m. Sparks Civil Service Commission. There are 2 vacancies on the Civil Service Commission, each for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. Members cannot be city employees or related to one within 3rd degree of consanguinity. That word, I knew I was going to do that. Sorry, everyone. Applications will be accepted until 5 p.m. on Friday, May 31st, 2024. And last one, Sparks Parks and Recreation Commission. There are 2 vacancies on the Parks and Recreation Commission, each for 3-year terms ending June 30th, 2027. Members must be a resident of Sparks or have a valid Sparks business license. Applications will be accepted until 5 p.m. on Friday, May 31st, 2024. Persons interested in serving on these committees should complete a community service application online at the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us/get involved. Simply complete the volunteer application form and hit submit. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to consent item. Anyone want to take a consent item out? If not, we're looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to approve consent item 8.1 as submitted.
Mr. Dare.
Second.
The motion has second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, general business. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the joint appointment with the city of Reno of one of the elected official to represent the owners of the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility on the Board of Trustees of the Western Regional Water Commission from the following pool of applicants listed in alphabetical order: Donald Abbott, Paul Anderson, Jenny Breckus, Charlene Bybee, Christopher Dare, Naomi Dewar, Megan Ebert, Ed Lawson, Miguel Martinez, Devin Reese, Hillary Sheevy, and Kathleen Taylor, and Diane Vanderwell. Mr. Drinkwater.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Michael Drinkwater, Community Services Director. Before you, seeking your approval of the nomination of a candidate to represent Tumwharf at the Western Regional Water Commission. Recall, this seat is jointly, it represents Tumwharf on behalf of Sparks and Reno, and it is customary that the seat alternate between the two cities, currently occupied by Mr. Abbott, but his term is ending directly. And so on April 23rd, the Tumwharf JCC met to nominate a candidate, and Councilmember Martinez was selected as the representative, and I'm here before you seeking your endorsement of that recommendation.
Okay, any questions? Not, I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to approve the joint appointment of Miguel Martinez to represent the owners of the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility on the Board of Trustees of the Western Regional Water Commission for a 2-year term ending March 31st, 2026.
Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.2, consideration, discussion, and possible acceptance of the Federal Emergency Management Agency Assistance State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program in the amount of $109,050 to purchase technical security assessments for firewalls, clouds, and on-premise infrastructure. That's why you're all dressed up.
That's why I'm all dressed up. Good
Not used
afternoon.
to seeing you IT guys in a tie.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. My name is Ty Reed, your IT security administrator for the record. I just want to say that we are receiving, City of Sparks is receiving the Federal Emergency Management Agency Assistance State and Local Cybersecurity Grant. It is $109,000, and there are no match requirements. What we plan on doing with that grant is do a full IT security audit of our environment, just to ensure that we're matching our CIS framework with our IT infrastructure to the best of our abilities. What we plan on doing after that is just ensure that we create a baseline so we can move forward and ensure that where we go from there is best practice CIS framework controls, and we're secured as best we can be. And then hopefully use future grant funding to improve even more, either technically or training or people. And let's see, there's no match again, and I want to thank Mel Evans for helping out with this. Is she still here? Did she leave? There she is. She helped out throughout the whole way, and I really appreciate that. Let's see. Just staff recommends approval to receive the grant funding to complete the assessments.
All right, questions from the council? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to accept the Federal Emergency Management Agency Assistance State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program in the amount of $109,050 to purchase technical security assessment for firewalls, cloud, and on-premises infrastructure.
Mr. Anderson.
Second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Yeah. 9.3, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a fiscal year 2024-25 budget recommendations and fiscal terms, including 1, the acting city manager's recommendation for the City of Sparks final budget, and 2, the proposed 5-year capital improvement plan. Mr. Kronk.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. I am Jeff Kronk, your Chief Financial Officer for the record, and I have something I'll pull up here really quick as soon as I find out how to do this.
It's that password right there.
Okay. Oh, look at you. How about that? Thank you. There it is. There we go. Okay, I'll start by promising to keep my comments brief. So we've been talking about this for the better part of 7 months. So what I plan on showing you today is just the summary of, this is the time when I can do a shameful plug for all the detail. This is the time of year that we probably do our most beneficial, useful publication out of the Financial Services Department. It's really designed, this publication that we affectionately call the City Manager's Final Budget Recommendations. It's a book. I mean, it's not a book that you're going to take home for reading pleasure, but it is a reference book, and we do take a lot of pride in this. And I want to quickly give a shout out to our budget team led by Wayne Weber and Jennifer Parmenter and Jasmine Lozano, who all of them do a great amount of work to publish this. It's really an encapsulation of a lot of work done by a lot of people throughout the city. So with that, I just wanted to kind of remind us of how we got here and where we're at and where we're going from here. So when we're talking about the fiscal 25 budget timeline, you've seen this chart before. This is, again, for the millions of viewers that do tune into these. We all know for sure. Again, this effort started way back in October, and again, a lot of effort from a lot of people in a lot of different departments across the city. Led to our City Council Budget Workshop, if you recall, that we held in February, and also the City Council Capital Improvement Plan Workshop that we held in March. We took all that information in the direction that we receive you and file a tentative budget, which is due on April 15th, which doesn't mean a lot for us, other than if we can't come to an agreement on what the final budget is, the tentative budget can become the de facto final budget. But I don't know if that's ever happened in the state, to be honest with you, but that is kind of where it is. Fortunately for us, what I'm going to present to you today, the final budget recommendations, is actually pretty close, almost essentially identical to what the tentative budget is. So that brings us to today, and I'm going to be seeking your approval on two specific items. One being the approval of the final budget recommendations. So just to clarify, this is not the approval of the actual budget itself, but just the final recommendations, and just kind of give it one more, this is absolutely where we want to go. Like I said, we've been talking about this for 7 months, so a lot of this is going to look very familiar to you. The second thing I'm seeking from you today is your approval on the 5-year capital improvement plan. Looking forward, as we jump ahead, the next council meeting, the second one in May, we need to do a couple of things. So one, we're required to hold a public hearing on that tentative budget that we filed on April 15th. No action is required, just other than holding a public hearing. And the second one being then we're seeking your approval of the final budget itself. So that's the actual state forms that we're going to need to get your signatures on so that we can turn it around quickly and give it back to the state, which the final budget is due on June 3rd. So that's kind of a timeline of where we're at. And then from here on, I just want to just briefly touch base as to where we landed, right? So I thought it was appropriate to remind ourselves where we landed on our fiscal policies, because this is, our budget is a fiscal policy-driven budget. So I'm just going to go through these very quickly. Policy number 1, as you know, is related to our ending fund balance. And our policy is to establish and maintain a minimum balance of 8.3%. And these recommendations for fiscal 25 show a 10.5%. for an ending fund balance, 10.5% of expenditures for an ending fund balance. Policy number 2 is to include a contingency budget of $1 million for the fiscal 25 budget. Policy 3 is to transfer resources, funds, if you will, from the general fund to the capital projects fund to take care of some of our capital projects that we outlined, both at the workshop and then also at the capital improvement plan workshop. We're a little short on this first one, and again, we had conversation about that relating to the amount that we're moving from the general fund into the CIP for general purposes. So it landed for fiscal 25 recommendations at $1.5 million, again for general CIP needs, and that came out to be 1.4% of budgeted revenues, short of the policy goal, which states 2.5%. And then also providing for, in these recommendations, $268,000 for IT hardware and software, and that part was fully funded as per what was recommended in the CIP. Policy 4 is to commit a portion, it doesn't have to be $250,000, but a portion of business license revenue to the stabilization fund. And this year, we follow a practice that we've had in the last several years now, that fiscal '25 will commit $250,000 of those revenues to our stabilization fund, otherwise known as our rainy day fund. At the end of fiscal '25, we expect with some interest earnings and this $250,000 contribution, we should have about $2.2 million in that fund at the end of the year. Policy 5 is that we're to keep our general fund personnel costs at or below 78%. This budget is higher than that, so it's at 79.1%. So just to kind of put that in context, if we were to get it down to 78%, that would require reducing our budgeted personnel costs by about $1.1 million. So just to kind of give that some context. And then finally, policy 6 is to maintain a pay-as-you-go funding status for our benefit liabilities, as opposed to funding them upfront or setting up a irrevocable trust fund or something to that effect. We're just going to do a pay-as-you-go. Other noteworthy items, I'm just going to buzz right through these. Our PERS contribution rates remain unchanged. Recall, they will be the same as they are in 2024, as they will be in fiscal '25. We're expecting them to change in fiscal '26, but recall that's set by the legislature. Well, it's actually set by the PERS board, but approved and affirmed by the legislature. So we're expecting that as we head into and look forward into fiscal '26, that those will change. We just don't know and won't know until later this fall when the PERS board meets regarding that, and then they'll inform the legislature, and we'll know kind of what the expected increase is going to be. Speaking of increases, we are expecting and planning for a health insurance fund premium increase of 10% starting this July. Excuse me. And this last one is the second to last one is just a reminder that we don't include within the budget any assumed changes to unsettled contracts. And we let those negotiations play out unhindered, if you will. And so the only unsettled personnel contracts that we have going into fiscal '25 that aren't settled by the time we're able to file the budget is the contracts with the fire department, chief officers, and IAFF local number 731. And finally, we just end with a fiscal budget deficit of 6.7% that we're expecting in fiscal '25, and that's coming off of a budget or a fiscal deficit of in fiscal '24, the current fiscal year, of $5.4 million. So again, those numbers will change, but that's what we are expecting based on the data we have now and our plan going forward. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Before we get there, how we got to that budget deficit, we kind of have to remind ourselves that we actually started this process some 7 months ago with a much higher number. So once we settled in on what our revenue expected results were going to be, we had a $14.2 million fiscal deficit that we were staring at. So we implemented what I'm calling here budget deficit mitigation efforts, if you will, and those totaled $7.5 million. I won't read these to you. We've talked about these. These are exactly the items that we talked about at the budget workshop that we held back in February. But these are the items, including new needs that actually adds to the problem, and then we start reducing from there. And that involves including vacancy savings into the budget. That includes delaying some capital projects that were previously approved in fiscal '24, using our bond proceeds to purchase fire apparatus that were previously approved, reducing our fiscal transfer for policy 3, and utilizing where we can. So I'll kind of draw your eyes, if I can, to that second to bottom number, the $732,000. We're hoping to pay for debt service costs out of the impact fee service area number 1. It's designed to do that from fire, collection fees. The problem is we just don't know how those collections will come in future years, but we do know in fiscal '25 that they'll be covered. So the full amount of the bond service, debt service will be taken care of out of that fund rather than the general fund. So I expect that to not always happen every year as we go forward. It'll, you know, as we go forward, it'll have to come out of the general fund, but for now, and in future years, to the extent that the revenues are there, we're going to pay for it out of that fund. So that's how we got from our initial, you know, large number, if you will, cut it down by $7.5 million to get down to our fiscal, our budget deficit of $6.7 million. So this is just a snapshot, if you will, of our general fund. And let me just orient you a little bit to what we're looking at. Looking at the columns left to right, fiscal 23, those are audited actual results. Then fiscal 24 estimated results, and then finally fiscal 25 recommended budget. The last two columns, of course, being estimates. Those numbers will change, but again, this is based on the data we have right now, so snapshot. So consider this a snapshot. And then finally, just the percentage change is looking at fiscal 25 versus fiscal 24 estimates. As we go top down, we're looking at total sources, which includes revenues and transfers in. So for fiscal 25, I'm going to round up. That's $109 million. Compare that to our total uses as we're going down, which includes expenditures and transfers out in contingency of $115.7 million. Gets us to our net deficit in fiscal 25 of $6.7 million. So I kind of hope you can see that there. And I drew circles around just for, you know, again, context. In fiscal 23, it was just as recent as fiscal 23, we had a net surplus in our budget results. Actually, our results at that point wasn't the budget, $4.5 million. So then, you know, fiscal 24 really started catching up the effects of that inflation that we've been seeing. So, you know, we're expecting a $5.3 million, $5.4 million in fiscal 24, followed up, again, following that up with a 6.7 in fiscal 25. So that's where we're at. So again, keep following down. Our ending fund balance, looking budgeted wise, is $11.5 million, which represents 10.5% of expenditures. And again, at the very bottom, just our personnel costs. Okay, this is the last slide I'm going to end with. It's just as a reminder that we have a lot more funds in the general fund. Most everybody, public, I mean, and us as well, we mostly talk about the general fund, but rightly so. But we have 30 other funds that the city has to manage and maintain. All of them have different restrictions. That's why they're outside the general fund. And they're both from the sources that are coming in and the expenses going out. They're all restricted for various purposes. You see the breakdown here at the side of the chart that I broke down here. I did want to draw your attention to, at the bottom, at the redevelopment agency, I'm listing that we have two funds, but as a reminder, the redevelopment agency area 1 terminated in fiscal 23, but we still maintain two different funds for agency area 2. So, and that includes our revolving fund and our debt service fund. So back when we had both areas, we actually had 4 different funds. But so now that doesn't refer to, just wanted to clarify that didn't refer to, we have two areas still. We just still have the one area now. So at the end of the day, we're looking to, if you step back and, you know, look at the high level, we're looking to file a budget with expenditures valuing about $267 million. And with that, I'm asking again, just a reminder for two items. One, your approval of the final recommendation, final budget recommendations, which again, this isn't the final budget. We're going to bring that back next time for both the city and the redevelopment agency. So we'll actually have 4 different items for you at the last meeting in May, where we're going to have to do a public hearing and then pass a budget for both the city and the redevelopment agency. But for today, we're just looking for approval on the recommendations for those budgets, and then also approval of the capital improvement plan, the 5-year capital improvement plan. And with that, I'm happy to wrap up and entertain any questions you might have.
Questions from the council? Ms. Bybee.
Thank you, Jeff. None of us like deficits. Tough place to be, but thank you so much for the work that everyone has done in basically reducing that by $7.5 million. I mean, that was a lot of hard work. So we still have the $6.7 million. For people who, you know, general public watching this that hasn't been going through all these meetings like we have, is it primarily inflation that has, of everything we do and buy and services. Is it inflation that really has contributed most? And obviously, as we grow as a city, we need more personnel so we can provide public safety and also other positions. But really, kind of what is your take as our expert on our finances of what has led us to the deficit that we're continue to face right now? Thank you.
In short, you're absolutely correct. No, I could end that way. That was well stated. But I'll expand because that's what I do. But yes, it's really, we're finding ourselves in a very different situation than, if someone was here long enough and remembers the Great Recession where everything was, coming down. This is something very different in that our revenues are actually increasing, just not to the extent or to the level that our expenditures are. So, and the expenditures are rising for a variety of reasons, all those that you just mentioned. So it's really a greater umbrella of cost pressure that really, as we came out of the pandemic, and a lot of the extra stimulus money that was flooded into the market, that caused a lot of the inflation. A lot of the supply chains caused the inflation. That just outpaced our revenue growth. So I still continue to see all the data points that our revenue is going to still increase, but at a slower pace, if you will, than our expenditures, and that includes everything that you mentioned. So costs and also adding of positions and just meeting our services that we need. And honestly, I'd make an argument that we're still paying for that Great Recession when we lost a lot of employees. We had to cut very deeply, and we're at levels, now where we're just still catching up, some 10 plus, almost 15 years now later. Actually, it is 15 years later. It just took a long time to recoup that, and that just to meet basic services. So, to your point.
Mr. Dare.
Yeah, when do you think we will see our next C-Tax update so we can kind of see if all that we put in the magic ball is true and where we're at?
Yeah, we just got one a couple weeks ago, and it came in right in line with expenses or with expectations, and it was actually a good one to see. But when overall it came in, and it gave me more confidence that our projection is accurate for the current year. And then honestly, that's all you can really base your future expectation on. So just a couple weeks ago, it looks like we're on target. Still slow, and it's the slow growth part of that is what really where we're seeing the shortfall in the revenues.
And so you say it's inflation. Do we actually ever really see deflation? I mean, is that really something we're waiting for, or do we just have to wait for everything else to catch up to where we're at today?
Well, we saw deflation during the Great Recession. Right now, what we're trying to accomplish is a disinflation, if you will. So more of a
Now you confuse
I know.
me. That's a good one.
It's a slower level of inflation.
Okay.
I think inflation in total, if you mean anything north of zero, will be here for as long as I can foresee and anybody else foresees. I think the goal is to get inflation down to a manageable level, and it hasn't been for the last couple of years.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Jeff? This every year, man. This is a bad one, though, with having to make up that deficit. So, any other questions from the council? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson.
I move to approve the acting city manager's final budget recommendations for fiscal year 24-25, and I move to approve the proposed 5-year capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2024-2025 through fiscal year 2028-2029.
Mr. Abbott.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll see you next month.
Better news.
Actually, in a few weeks, yes, 2 weeks. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of a cooperative local public agency agreement, AC 6049, with the Nevada Department of Transportation, NDOT, and utilize federal grant funds for the pedestrian ramp replacement project with an estimated cost to the city of Sparks of $19,500 and NDOT reimbursement not to exceed $370,500. Amber.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. Amber Sosa, Transportation Manager. The item before you for your consideration is a cooperative local public agency agreement between the city and the Nevada Department of Transportation to utilize federal grant funds for a project we're calling the Pedestrian Ramp Replacement Project. NDOT provides local governments the opportunity to seek Transportation Alternative Program Funds, also called TAP funds, which are made available to the state of Nevada through the Federal Highway Administration. The TAP program provides for funds for community-based projects to enhance travel choices and to enhance the transportation experience. The city applied for TAP funds to remove and replace pedestrian ramps that currently do not meet ADA accessibility requirements. Staff is looking at 5 elementary schools in the city of Sparks. If I can direct you to the map, we're looking at the areas near Alice Maxwell, Lincoln Park, Jerry Whitehead, Bud Beasley, and Zolpolvita School. And with this project, we hope to replace 50 or more pedestrian ramps. NDOT notified the city that $390,000 had been programmed for this project. To initiate the project, the city must first enter into this agreement with NDOT. Requirements include NDOT overview through design, bidding, and construction as identified within the agreement. Should the project go to construction, the city will initially fund 100% of the project. Once complete, NDOT will reimburse the city up to 95% of the actual cost, not to exceed $370,500. The remaining 5% is the city's responsibility as matching funds, estimated to be $19,500. Approving this agreement does not obligate the city to fund this project, but starts the design process to move this project forward. Staff anticipates the project going to bid and construction in fall of 2024 with construction right after, and that construction agreement or award would come before you. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council, Ms. Spivey?
So Amber, these are ADA compliance for ramps located near these elementary schools, correct?
Yes, the current ramps do not meet current ADA accessibility requirements, so we'd be replacing them with ramps that meet those current standards.
Because I'm curious, when I look at Bud Beasley, which I feel is brand new because my kids opened it, but it was longer ago than I'd like to admit. But Sepulveda is even newer than Bud Beasley. The other schools are older, so I understand that. But have compliance regulations changed that much since Beasley and Sepulveda were opened? And are we looking at other schools that are out of compliance?
We are, yes. So to start specifically with Zolpolvita and Bud Beasley, while they are newer construction, we are finding ramps within the area that do not have things such as the detectable warning domes or appropriate slopes into and out of. So those schools are kind of hit and miss. This one meets it, that one doesn't, but just looking at that walkability for the entire area, we are finding more ramps in the older area of Sparks, but we are looking at just anywhere students could be walking to and from those schools. These are our initial 5 schools that we're starting with. I'm hoping that I'm before you in a year from now saying this is phase 2 of this project and we could get more grant funding to continue the efforts.
Mr. Dare.
Yeah, conversation we started a little bit in our meeting, but I just want to again say it here. The shared responsibility is also with the schools for these ramps because part of it's on their property, and with their WC1 funding, it's something that I would just continue to ask, because maybe we can get more schools done if we are not the only one putting these funds towards that.
Absolutely. As we look at the specifics for these projects and which ramps are included, right away is one of the first things that we will check, not only for the reasons you mentioned, but it is a part of this agreement, and look to see what is the best way to get that work done. We've had great relationships with the school district in the past, and we'll work together with them continuing.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, no other questions. I'm looking for a motion. Anybody? Ms. Spivey?
I move to approve the Cooperative Local Public Agency Agreement AC 6049 with the Nevada Department of Transportation, NDOT, to utilize federal grant funds for pedestrian ramp replacement project with an estimated cost to the city of Sparks of $19,500 and an NDOT reimbursement not to exceed $370,500.
Mr. Anderson?
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. 9.5, consideration, discussion, possible approval of a construction contract AC 6048 with Sierra Nevada Construction in the amount of $441,007, excuse me. They always confuse, I know they do the $7 because that's their lucky number. For the 2024 preventative maintenance slurry project, bid number 23/24-018 PWP WA 2024-312.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Amber Sosa, Transportation Manager. As introduced, for your consideration, this is a construction contract for our 2024 preventative maintenance slurry project. The preventative maintenance slurry project is a yearly project that comes before you annually. It provides preventative maintenance treatments to city roadways. If I could direct you to the map, towards the north, you'll see Los Altos, and towards the east, you'll see Sparks Boulevard. The roads included in this year's project are there outlined in red. The project does also include some preventative maintenance work at the Sparks Municipal Courthouse. With this project, the city will treat over 1 million square foot of roadway with a rapid setting slurry seal treatment, as well as providing asphalt patching and other forms of preventative maintenance. The city received 3 bids for this project in April. Bids consisted of a base bid and an option. The low bid was deemed with a combination of the base and the option as detailed in the bid documents, and recommendation to award for your consideration today is based on the combination of the base and the option. Sierra Nevada Construction submitted the low bid at $441,007, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? All right, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to approve a construction contract AC 6048 with Sierra Nevada Construction in the amount of $441,007 for the amount of 2024 preventative maintenance slurry project bid number 23/24-018 PWP WA 2024-312.
Ms. Vanderwell.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Amber. All right, public hearing. Consideration, discussion, and possible approval of, for submittal to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, the program year 5, fiscal year 2024-25, Community Development Block Grant and Home Consortium Annual Action Plan for the estimated expenditures of approximately $1,246,668. That's it. So, of Community Block Development Block Grant funds. Amy.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson, members of council. For the record, my name is Amy Jones, Housing Specialist. I am before you today requesting approval for submittal to HUD, the Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for fiscal year 24-25. The City of Sparks is an entitlement community and does receive an annual award of CDBG funds. Our annual action plan is the city's application to HUD to approve the use of those funds. A copy of the annual action plan was attached with the staff report, and the plan was made available to the public for 30 days, and a public meeting was held on May 1st. The figures in the original draft plan and staff report at the time they were written were based on fiscal year 23-24 figures because HUD had not announced the fiscal year 24-25 amounts. HUD does allow grantees to continue to conduct the citizen participation of its draft plan according to its normal citizen participation process using estimated figures. HUD has announced the awards on May 7th. The fiscal year 24-25 annual action plan has been updated with those actual figures, as well as they will be reflected in this presentation. As we draft our annual action plan and create those activities, we start with the CDBG program objectives, which include providing decent housing, providing suitable living environments, and expanding economic opportunities. Activities must meet one of the CDBG national objectives, which include benefiting low to moderate income persons, and the funding must benefit low to moderate income households earning less than 80% of the area median income. or aid in the prevention or elimination of slums and blight, which may include the purchase, demolition, or rehabilitation of blighted properties, or it may address an urgent need, which this one isn't as commonly used because that need does have to pose an immediate threat to the health and welfare of the community. HUD requires the city complete and submit a 5-year consolidated plan. The proposed activities in the city's annual action plan must support the goals identified in the city's 5-year plan. The city's current 5-year consolidated plan is for the period of fiscal year 2020 to 2024, and we are entering the final year of that plan, or year 5. The priorities established in the plan include making improvements to public infrastructure to increase accessibility and safety, provide supplemental support of the operations of nonprofits that provide shelter and supportive services to extremely low-income households, residents with special needs, and persons who are homeless, implementing affirmatively furthering fair housing initiatives to ensure fair housing activities are in place in the Sparks community, and support activities that create affordable and mixed income housing opportunities. As I mentioned, HUD announced those fiscal year 24-25 CDBG annual awards on May 7th. The city will receive $688,234 in new entitlement funds, and this is a $12,305 increase over last year's award. The city will roll forward $115,239 of funding from previous awards. The city has $125,500 in revolving loan funds to be used toward the homeowner rehabilitation deferred loan program, and $330,000 of remaining CDBG COVID funds, which brings us to a total of $1,258,973 of available funding. Staff is proposing the following activities: $20,000 toward the support of Silver State Fair Housing Council's mission to increase awareness and educate the community on fair housing rights. $86,768 to continue to support the Eddie House's operations of providing services and shelter to youth experiencing homelessness in Washoe County. $434,059 toward pedestrian improvements to continue to replace and improve concrete, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks in wards 1 and 2. $70,000 toward the emergency repair grant, which allows residents to request up to $10,000 to repair health and safety concerns in their homes. $125,500 toward the homeless rehabilitation deferred loan program, where residents can request up to $25,000 to repair health and safety concerns in their home. $137,646 for the planning and administration to support staff salaries for the overall program administration for the CDBG program. $55,000 toward the housing administration specific to the emergency repair grant and homeowner rehabilitation deferred loan program. And then $330,000 of the CDBG COVID funds for public infrastructure improvements to support improvements to city-owned parks to promote social distancing. And again, we're at that total of $1,258,973. This slide just provides photos of past CDBG-funded pedestrian improvement and facility improvement projects benefiting low to moderate income neighborhoods. In addition to providing community trainings to service providers, property managers, and realtors, city staff also benefit from the partnership with Silver State Fair Housing Council through annual trainings for city staff. And as I mentioned, staff is proposing to continue to provide CDB funding to support the Eddie House and their mission. And with that, the recommended motion is on the screen. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Ms. Vanderwell?
Just have a couple questions. Do we get any reporting back from the Eddie House on how funds are being used and what the return on investment is?
Yes, they do have to provide us with quarterly reporting on the households that are being served, as well as if they're, how they're coming toward meeting those objectives identified in their contract with the city for the use of those funds. So we do have all of those figures, and those will be figures that I will report back to council on the CAPER later in this summer for that submittal to HUD once we've completed the year.
Can I do a follow-up? And then I have a question. I realize that both Ward 1 and Ward 2 need pedestrian improvements, but when we're having issues with affordability here and helping our citizens, is there a way to move some of those funds around to help in assistance with those?
And when you say help assist our residents with assistance, what type of assistance are
Well,
you?
either putting it in a fund so we can have someone come in and build some more affordable housing for us so that our citizenry is not so, because of rents. I guess that's what I'm asking is there a way to move things around for affordability issues?
We can utilize funds for affordable housing. It cannot be used, they can't be used for the construction of affordable housing, but they can be used, for example, for rehabilitation of affordable housing, and then also some of the costs that go along with acquiring property or building property, things like that, just not for the
Just not for
construction.
the construction,
Um,
okay.
And that, that's something, should the council choose, that we can always do an amendment to our annual action plan to change and move money around, should that be the direction.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone else?
I have a follow-up question
Over there.
to yours as well. When it comes to the pedestrian improvement, one of the questions that I have is, are we at a place where, I know we're always trying to replace everything we can because of whatever, but is this a year that we could look and say, you know what, these areas are bad, but we could live through it for a year to help something else? Or are we seeing, because I love the idea of potentially helping more, but I also don't want to help more to hurt other, that kind of balance. Is there any way to answer that, or I don't know?
And as far as, I don't feel I'm the best to answer is, as far as, I don't know how
I know,
gonna
I'm
say
looking
that.
over here.
That's more of an Amber, but, again, should council want to look at that direction of moving funds, into another category, that's absolutely something we can consider and have those internal conversations of, can we pull back those pedestrian improvement funds or another category, and how that will affect it. And I don't know if Jim wants to add.
Hi, Councilmember Derek, Jim Rundle, Assistant Community Services Director. Appreciate the question. The part that the pedestrian improvements is very successful for us on is, if you remember a few years ago, we got sideways with HUD in terms of timeliness. We didn't spend enough money and ultimately paid some fines. That money came back to us. Then we had more money to spend, which made it even more difficult to meet our timeliness, is what it's called. But HUD wants to make sure you're getting that funding into the community. What the pedestrian improvements has historically done for us is, through transportation manager John Erickson at one time and now Amber Sosa, is the opportunity to spend a lot of money very quickly and ensure we have that staff is managing the appropriation of that money. As you may see in your staff report, our programs such as emergency repair and deferred loan, they are available, but if the citizens don't come and request it, we have an easy winter or something, we aren't able to spend that money. We could get into a predicament where we don't meet our timeliness if we allocate too many funds toward programs that people, for that reason or another, that year don't use. The pedestrian improvements give staff the opportunity to manage and ensure we meet that expectation.
Thank you, and that's a very good explanation on that, too. I appreciate it.
Okay. Anyone else? We gotta take a 5-minute break. or actually, you know what, while we're at it, we'll just open this up for public hearing. And Maurice Page? How much time do you need, Chief?
Good afternoon, Maurice Page, Nevada Housing Coalition Executive Director. Good to see everyone. Stepping in today to see how excited I am about the CDBG funds. It is something that I've been working in and around over the last 15 plus years, and I love to see it has a great impact on our communities. Definitely with the matter with the monies going towards the youth shelter. And I think also we should consider possibly moving some of the funds towards supportive services, which helps out towards mental health, drug addiction, mental health, things of that nature. You could also see where you could, make some improvements in that area as well. But I would like to just say I commend the commission here to in regards to approving to move forward with that, and the coalition supports that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maurice. Anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? All right, bring it back to the dais. We may have to take a minute recess for about 5 minutes while we get a computer glitch sorted out.
Honored to. I move to approve for submittal to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Program Year 5, fiscal year 2024 to 2025, Community Development Block Grant and Home Consortium Annual Action Plan for estimated expenditures of approximately $1,246,668 of Community Development Block Grant funds.
Mr. Anderson,
I will second the motion.
got a motion and anyone in the public wishing to speak? Bill? Bill, bring him a microphone. We gotta have some, words of wisdom. Hold on. Lisa's coming with the microphone.
With the budgets for 2024-25.
Jeff? Yes, after the meeting, we'll have Jeff come see you. All right.
You get him, Bill.
Get him, Bill. I'm gonna find that $6.7 million we need. All right, anyone else wishing to speak at this time? How about announcements from the mayor, city council, city manager? Mr. Manager, you got anything?
Oh, sir.
Council?
I do.
Ms. Bybee?
I would just like to make sure everyone knows and invite them to come to the Firefighter Challenge, which is a regional competition that our fire department association and the chief, Fire Chief Walt White, are involved in. And actually, he's receiving, going into their Hall of Fame for the Firefighter Challenge. It's a competition of firefighters from around the whole western region, and it'll be the Nugget Events Center on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's free. It's open to the public. And on Thursday and Friday, it's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then on Saturday from 8 a.m. till 1. And I know, where's our fire group? But it should be like, they said it is like the most intense 2 minutes in sports. And they climb this, climb up the stairs and pull, the hoses up, and it's 2 minutes for each competition, and there's team and relay. And we're really excited about hosting it for the first time ever. And we got that ability to do that because of Chief White has been so involved with the Firefighter Challenge. And we're looking to hopefully maybe bring nationals and world championships here. And the Nugget has been awesome to work with, and it's going to be a great venue. So come on out, stop by and watch a little bit of the firefighters that are climbing and pulling ropes and competing. So it'll be a great event.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Mr. Anderson.
So I wanted to invite everyone also on Saturday morning between 8 and 12 at the Sparks Marina. Speaking of this being Mental Health Awareness Month, it's going to be the Out of the Darkness Walk for suicide prevention, suicide awareness. Again, it's at the Sparks Marina between 8 and noon. I believe the walk actually starts at 9 o'clock, but we'd love to have you all join. Going to be a lot of resources out there as well. So thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Spin Around Sparks, 10 o'clock Saturday at Paradise Park.
Ride Reno Spin Sparks.
We're just doing the Spin Around Sparks Park. They can advertise the Ride Reno. All right. Anything else? Anyone got anything else? Going once, twice. We're adjourned.